swinging, but this ain't Hollywood. Black Air One, stomp him out where he stood. You was doing good, why roll the dice? Or gamble with your life, now you being led through the afterlife. It all goes down, and it's where you're not prepared.
What's going on, everybody? Kings of the Ring podcast here, presented by Digital Bricks Network. I want to thank TC as well as Nia as being on production side of things. Also, shout out to Emmanuel for helping out as well. Theme song by the great Shamel, as well as production by Northside Louie. I am your host, Khalil, a.k.a. Khalil Mysterio Jr. Who we got over here?
Yeah, it's your boy Willie Joe, man, a.k.a. The Undermaker, a.k.a. Stone Cold Bruh Flossin'.
All right, and today we have a very special guest, a very, very special guest. He is asked me to introduce him as the greatest of all time.
Yes.
Of all media, of all kinds of visual marketing, here and there and everywhere. Very knowledgeable on ball as well. Please welcome to the Kings of the Ring studio, Spitty.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. And in the words of my man Dusty Rhodes, you know, I'm the best dressed out here with my cashmere. You know what I'm saying? The American dream, baby.
Yes, rest in peace, man.
Rest in peace. Rest in peace. We want to thank you so much for coming on the show today.
Absolutely.
Ray, I want
My pleasure.
Just a little quick background. Let people know who you are. Give you a little background. What you do.
Yes, sir. I'm Ja'Cory Spitty Robinson, label executive, digital marketing pioneer, the creator of the greatest hip hop platform on the planet, Off the Porch, and you know, just a storyteller, a marketing guy, and just all around creative. And yeah, man, and my love for wrestling is you know runs deep. So been watching it since I was a jit. So yeah, man.
Nah, definitely. So we ask this question to start every show when we got a guest.
Mm-hmm.
We got to go around the room. Who your GOAT? We got to know who everybody GOAT is so we can know who we talking to. Okay. My GOAT is Shawn Michaels, and directly after that, Bret Hart.
Okay, so my GOAT is, dang, that's such a hard one, man. I would have to say, okay, I can name two?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, so I would say The Undertaker.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of my GOATs.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's a toss up between Owen Hart and Hulk Hogan, just because he is the legend. But talking about technical wrestling, charisma, and everything, like Owen Hart was my guy.
Okay.
That's a good one.
All right, cool. My go to a little bit later in the timeline. Mine are Jeff Hardy as well as Bryan Danielson. He was Daniel Bryan in WWE.
Yeah.
But yeah, those two definitely are like up to as being like my favorites, the GOATs. You know, don't get any better than those two. But I feel you. Real quick question for me, because I'm a fucking nerd about this. What specific like era or look of Undertaker?
So I'm a huge fan of the early Undertaker where he was rolling his eyes in the back of his head and, you know, like had Paul Bearer with him and, you know, all that. Like I would say like the intro of the Undertaker like was probably my favorite. But then what I really appreciated about the Undertaker was that he was able to transition his character in a couple of different ways.
Yeah.
You know, he went to being, what was it, the
American Badass.
The American Badass,
Ministry.
where he riding, you know, the motorcycle in there. Then like the Prince of Ministry or whatever, and you know what I mean. And then I was glad when he went back to, you know, his original. But the Undertaker with the hat on, the big long trench coat, like that's the Undertaker that I like.
Definitely epic. And I peeped you said Owen Hart, like,
yeah.
So it made me think about a question. Did you see the pay-per-view where he passed away?
Yeah, I did.
And that was so crazy.
And I remember watching that, and I remember him coming down, and then the cameras just like switched
that was
like
so
crazy,
fast, bro.
And I thought it was like a spoof. I thought that they was, you know,
work like it was a part of the show.
Yeah, I thought it was a part of the show. And then also like I still didn't know how serious it was because they kept wrestling. Yeah. And they was wrestling with the blood on the, you know, in the ring. And so at first I didn't think it was real. And then it tripped me out that
over limit 99.
Now let me say this too. It's kind of interesting too that happened to him, that mistake happened right after Bret Hart
Screwjob.
Yeah, the Bret Hart screw job, and he ended up leaving and going to WCW. So
Yo, I never thought about
I'm a
that.
It was like 2
conspiracy.
years later. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a conspiracy theorist, so like I'm always like, yo, man, like was that like the screw job part 2? You know what I'm saying? Because they before that there was never an accident like that in the ring, and then after that we've never seen an accident like that. So I always wonder, man.
Do you think the show should have still went on afterwards?
Hell no, nah. They should have cut that because the fans and the that were there, like watching, the whole event. I mean, they were all traumatized, And I know a lot of people even that was there when you watch like some of the documentaries and stuff, they say that they didn't even know that it was real, at first, know. But yeah, I think they should have cut that. They should have they should have canceled it right then and there.
Of course.
Nah, recipes on Hart, man.
Rest in
man,
peace,
for
Owen
real.
Hart. The best member of the nation. I'm joking. Not on Black History Month.
The fact that Owen Hart was in the Nation of Domination was so crazy. It's so funny, bro. Like I never understood that, dog. That was like they DEI hire.
Now, so you don't watch wrestling no more as far as weekly goes, right?
Not as much, but I do like Cody Rhodes. The American Nightmare.
Yeah,
I rock with him.
He come to a list. So, would you stop watching wrestling? I want to ask you, like, do you feel like wrestling is worse now?
I feel like it definitely lost its flair. It definitely lost its flair. I feel like for me the characters just aren't as charismatic, just aren't as enjoyable to watch. You know what I'm saying? From when we, seeing like Triple H and his, how he came in as Hunter Hearst Helmsley, and then ended up switching it up to being the Game, and changing his character and all of that. Seeing funny characters like the Godfather. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And it tripped me out when I realized that he was actually Papa Shango. Back early on. That was something that really tripped me out. But I just feel like, man, like the storylines that Vince and that team, Vince McMahon and that team were able to come up with, it was just like no other, man. So I kind of feel like wrestling, it's almost like, imagine if there was a Star Wars movie that George Lucas didn't, direct, didn't put together. It's almost like, I mean, it'll probably be good because they'll have the characters and all of that, but just the storylines for me don't hit like how they used to.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, speaking on that for real, I mean, obviously, the '90s was pretty much over by the time I was born. So, my wrestling acumen and knowledge come from the mid to late 2000s.
Okay,
it's when I started watching. But, of course, I have to go back and watch old tapes.
Absolutely.
And comparing it from, like, what I grew up with and now to what, and I mean this in the most respectable way possible, which y'all grew up with, which y'all had, I can tell why people say, like, it's a very pivotal point and why it's, like, worse than it is now. Because I would say, like, it's not really what they're used to. Really, speaking to me, the Attitude Era had its place, Golden Era had its place, but nothing really gets better than Ruthless Aggression. But of course, that's me. Yeah. Ruthless Aggression is really where it's at, like that little period between 2002 and 2008. 9.
You realize the statement you just made? I was finna let that go, but I can't.
Hey,
you know what you just said?
Listen. It's hard for me to connect with the Attitude Era, even though I know how many eras we have.
Whoa.
Even though we have, because I didn't off the deck of not growing up with it, like that whole connection to the era is kind of like, it's not that it's not there. It's just like kind of hard to like, be attached to it, especially in hindsight. But when you're growing up with it, especially during that time, and you're a little kid staring at TV, and you're like, yeah, this McMahon can fight God. That can happen. Yeah, okay, I can buy this. Oh, this John Cena guy, they're making him the new best thing. I guess we shall see. Like, that's just my point of view,
Yeah.
But I do have an appreciation for the Attitude Era and new era and the Golden Era as well. Where we are now, it wouldn't be a thing. But if not for where we came from.
Nah, for sure. I bet for him watching some of the older wrestling we was watching is almost like, I don't know if your parents ever watched like old Western movies and stuff like that. But like I remember like my mom's was like big into Westerns, and so I would like be sitting there and I'm like, man, this just look too old school. It's almost like analog. You feel me?
Yeah, my dad was the biggest John Wayne fan, and I used to be like, turn this off.
Yeah, bro. Yo, I used to be sitting. I used to go down to Memphis. I'm originally from Milwaukee, and I used to go down to Memphis every summer. And my grandfather was like the biggest wrestling fan. So I used to sit up with him and watch like even the older wrestling that's like even older than our generations, like when cats like Bob Backlund was, like
champion
was
shit,
champion and was, what I'm saying, really good and all that. Like it was ill, man.
Would you say that's your first wrestling memory? Is what your
Yeah. I would say my first wrestling memory would be going down to Memphis, and me and my cousin Cello, we would go over to our grandfather's house, and we would just sit and watch wrestling like the whole weekend. You know what I'm saying? We would just sit up and watch wrestling with him. And then one of my uncles, my Uncle Bruh, he's huge. And with wrestling too, so it would be like if I was when I would go down to Memphis, I would either be trying to be at my grandfather's house or over my uncle's house because they was big into wrestling. Yeah.
That's hard.
I got you. So what would you say? Because around your time when you were like a kid watching, I'm assuming that's like Golden/Territory days. Am I right?
Yeah.
Okay. So like, do you have like a program of choice of what you like to watch? Because there's a WWF. We also had the AWA around the time. JCP was still going around the time. Smoky Mountain Wrestling as well. Do you have a preference on what program you like to tune into?
So interesting enough, I mean, WWF has always been like my favorite, my go-to, but then Memphis is huge in the wrestling world, and so they actually had Memphis wrestling back in the day. So like Jerry the King Lawler, who had been an announcer for the longest, he was a really dope wrestler, and he came out of Memphis wrestling. And so there were like a lot of the wrestlers that were in WWF actually started out like in Memphis wrestling. And so I would say WWF's my favorite, but then Memphis wrestling is probably almost neck and neck, with WWF.
I do know, like, while Jerry the King Lawler was doing his heel stuff in the WWF, he was always a babyface in Memphis.
Yeah.
We got all that mysterious 100+ title reigns. It's like Kareem's 100-point game. Like, we don't it happened, but we don't have any like footage of it happening. But we just have to take a name for it because Memphis was insane. Personal question again, like not personal question, but like personal. Were you like around the time when you saw Vince McMahon pop up on Memphis TV when he invaded Memphis for a little bit?
Yeah. I remember seeing Vince McMahon back then, and like Vince was just always that crazy personality. He was always like he always had that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I definitely remember that.
Gotcha. Okay, you guys got like a little treat of like a pre-Mr. McMahon, when he was doing those Memphis promos. So you at least got to like see like this whole prototype, what will become the evil boss in like the coming days. So that did feel special at some point.
Yeah, no, for sure. Because, when Vince first started in WWF, he was just at the announcer's table. You know what I mean? And his character in the beginning was still like kind of developing, but when he was over at Memphis wrestling, he gave more personality, and he was the Vince that we've come to see now. But if your first time seeing Vince was, at the announcer's table at WWF, you might not have known that he had the personality that he has because of like the crazy promos and stuff that he used to do in Memphis wrestling and, all he used to do there.
Okay, cool.
No, definitely. So who was your first favorite wrestler?
My first favorite wrestler, probably, is I would say it's a toss-up between the Ultimate Warrior and Macho Man Randy Savage.
Oh.
Macho Man is definitely another one who's like up there in probably like my top 5, wrestlers. Like Macho Man was real dope. And then, you know, and then he had the chick with him. You know, he had Elizabeth with him, and I was like, man, Macho Man pimping out here, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Macho Man getting how he live. You know what I'm saying? He's probably snorting coke off her butt and everything.
Yo, I wouldn't be surprised. He definitely showed talk like he does.
Yo,
Yeah.
straight up.
Yeah, for sure.
Straight up.
For sure. You said it. What's your top 5? I need Spitty top 5 of all time.
Top 5 of all time.
Ooh, top 5. All right, so I'm gonna go with, and this not in order.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm gonna go with The Undertaker, Hulk Hogan, Owen Hart, Macho Man Randy Savage,
Sir?
Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Okay.
I gotta put Stone Cold in there, and then number five. I'm gonna have to say Shawn Michaels.
Yes.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Solid list.
Solid list.
Yeah.
Where would you, if there was like a number 6, would you put like Bret Hart there? Or?
Yeah, I would probably, if I had a 6, 7, 8, I'd probably put like Bret Hart. I'd put my guy Booker T in there.
Okay.
Yeah, five time. Yeah. So those would be like other 2 people I put in there.
Around the time,
Mr. Perfect would be somewhere in my.
My goat.
There you go.
Yeah,
There you go.
yeah. Mr. Perfect. I love bro. He was dope.
When would you say that? At what point would you say that wrestling felt special?
Man, I mean, shit, from the beginning. I mean, you know, I come from the era, you know, I remember like watching wrestling in the late 80s, early 90s when they had like the smaller ring that they would get in, and it would like basically drive them like to the ring. So you seeing Hulk Hogan versus Andre the Giant, you know what I'm saying? Like you seeing that. I mean, it's man, it's tough to say, man, because I mean, even, you know, like the Attitude Era, man, when you had like those TLC matches, man, like against the Hardy Boys and the Dudley brothers, and
Classic.
yeah,
Classic.
So and the Dudley brothers was probably one of my favorite like times in wrestling, because they would like just 3D anybody, and man, when they used
was you rocking with Spike Dudley too?
Yeah, oh yeah. No, for sure.
Facts.
Yeah, man. No.
So were you, when you first started watching WWF, you said you was into Memphis wrestling too.
Yeah.
Did you catch, because I was a person that loved, like I was introduced to wrestling through Hulk Hogan.
Okay, yeah.
So once the Hulk Hogan got me on it, I started watching it, but then I started flicking through channels and I stopped at TBS. And I saw Ric Flair,
Yeah.
Dusty Rhodes,
Yeah.
Barry Windham, Dr. Death. I said, what the hell is this?
Yeah.
NWA was like some other shit. So were you on NWA too?
I wasn't on NWA like that. I got, well, because NWA was like the first iteration of WCW, right? Yeah. And so I wasn't much in the NWA like that, but then when it turned into WCW, I was definitely watching it. So I was watching, you know, Ric Flair, Dusty Rhodes, the Four Horsemen, you know, like when Arn Anderson, and I remember Dean Malenko, you know.
Malenko.
Yeah. So
This kind of talk right there.
One of the greatest cruiserweights, man.
Yo, no, for real.
So like so you seem to be very like multifaceted in the eras of wrestling. So what would you say is like the peak era of wrestling?
I mean, I don't know if it's just cliche to say, but the Attitude Era was, to me, just like the best time of watching wrestling, because we, you know, but it's also interesting too, because WCW had a time as well, like where Kevin Nash like went over there, and you know, Hulk Hogan went over there, dyed his beard black, and was Hollywood Hulk Hogan turned heel. You know, so you know what I'm saying. So that was a really interesting era of. Was that at the same? Was that at the same time as the Attitude Era? Or
that made Attitude Era. That made them go Attitude.
Yeah. So I guess I would straight up say Attitude Era. Like that was my favorite time in wrestling.
Gotcha. From that moment that. A very like pivotal moment in wrestling history when Stone Cold Steve Austin delivered his Austin 316 promo, all the way up until again, started with Austin, ended with Austin.
Yeah.
When he shook hands with Mr. McMahon at WrestleMania 17.
Yeah.
So, like, that's a really good pivotal moment right there. It's a time where wrestling was at its peak.
Yeah.
You know, so in terms of culture. So that's a good answer. That's a really great answer.
And then I remember too, though, the skits between Booker T and Goldust. Like, those had to be some of the most classic skits, man. Like, where Booker T in the 7-Eleven and he like about to buy a slushie or whatever, and then Goldust is like the like one of the workers in there, and he just mop him up in the store, or he at the restaurant, and Goldust end up being the waiter, and like, man, that yeah,
classic.
That was aggression ball.
That's what's missing. Like, that's exactly what's missing.
Yeah, like those skits that they were doing, all of that type of stuff. It's almost like hip hop, like with these rap albums and stuff, and they don't have as many skits and like missing the storylines a little bit sometimes. You know, that's like some of the stuff that I miss, like even in music. You know.
Nah, definitely. And we was talking before we start recording, and we both saying how our era we both got kind of introduced through Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
What is like your early memories of Hogan, like that just got you like, nah, this is it?
Man, I mean, Hogan getting beat up by the Ultimate Warrior or whatever, and then him, you know what I'm saying, doing like, I'm like, oh man, like he, you know what I'm saying, he ate his vitamins or something, like he on deck. And then Hogan was so dope, man, because he would be, you know, telling us like, man, eat your vitamins, like drink your milk, you know what I'm saying, whatever, like eat your vegetables, you know what I'm saying, like and shit. I listened a little bit, you know what I'm saying. Like,
I had my Flintstone vitamins.
Yeah,
sure.
no, for sure. And then Hulk Hogan and Randy Savage had a legendary match.
Mega Powers.
Yeah, like when, like I remember me and my cousin, again, man, me and my cousin Cello, man, we was wrestling fanatics, man, and I remember watching that match, and we like was sleeping in my auntie house, like had the mattress on the floor or whatever, and we imitating the wrestling moves while we watching it. And I remember at the end of the match, him and Randy Savage like get up and like hug each other and show each other love, and we imitating it all and all that. And then he like down there body slam me afterwards. I'm like, wait a minute, that didn't happen on the TV. Like,
that's a core memory right there, for real.
Yeah, nah, for real.
So we have like all these like pivotal people who change the culture in wrestling. You know, we have Austin issuing in the Attitude Era. We have Hogan coming in and changing WCW around when he went NWO. We have people like John Cena who went from being the hip hop guy to the top guy. Yeah. Hulk Hogan even revolutionizing wrestling, or when he came in with WWF. But my main question is, who do you think out of like anybody in the history of wrestling changed the culture the most?
Man, I mean, I think, you know, like what you were saying earlier, like Hulk Hogan was like the reason why a lot of us really got hooked on wrestling, and him being able to switch his character up, turn heel. But then a lot of us we love to hate him also, you know, as a heel. Then, you know, I would have to say like Stone Cold, you know, between like Stone Cold and The Rock, like they had such a cultural impact on wrestling, you know, and yeah, that's a tough question, but I mean, probably Stone Cold, you know, for real, because he was just so pivotal, you know, and like, I mean, he's like, what, you know, and he'd be like saying, what, you know what I'm saying?
Facts. Yeah, that's a great transition, because that leads us to the Attitude Era, one of the best eras like to ever do it. Do you think that the Attitude Era, I mean, it was great, but do you think it started, like, how did you feel about them like creating an Attitude Era based off getting their ass kicked by WCW?
I mean, it was necessary. It was necessary because, you know, like people were starting to turn their channel. What was it? Nitro, Monday Night Nitro or whatever. And, you know, Eric Bischoff had, you know, he definitely wasn't what Vince McMahon was, but to a certain degree, like he had like a short run where he like really gave Vince a run for his money, and even to the point to where I mean, Vince had to monopolize, and he just bought everything. You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
So yeah, nah, I definitely feel like the Attitude Era was necessary, because without that, WWF might have, you know, been second to WCW. But I don't think that Eric Bischoff could have had as long of a run as Vince McMahon was able to have. So if WCW would have even taken over, I feel like it kind of would have been short run, because he wasn't the visionary that Vince was.
Exactly.
And wasn't willing to take the chances too. Like Vince,
exactly.
He crossed the line in a lot of ways. I mean, you know, like from, I remember like, what was the character? Like they had characters like for so many of the times that were happening, like just in life, you know what I mean? So you had like, I forget the character name, but like he represented like Iraq, you know what I'm saying? And it was during that time, like the Gulf War,
Iron Sheik and
Iron
Slaughter.
Sheik, yes, you know what I'm saying? You had Sergeant Slaughter, you had, you know, like you had these different characters that like were also like in tune with what was really happening to us in real life. Even like Big Boss Man, like him being like this big country cop that was from Georgia and all of that. And we know like shit during that time, like a lot of the early police brutality stuff was, you know, was like a big deal and a big topic. And he walking around with the Billy Club, flipping it around and all that. And it just, it was able to touch like a nerve, you know, in a different way, you know. Okay.
All right. Cool. Well, there is a reason why we're not looking at wrestling on the WCW network nowadays. And I agree with you with the whole thing of like Eric Bischoff not being the visionary that Vince was, and coming up, as much as he'd like to tell you otherwise, even to this day, he will go on and on about them 83 weeks. But I was thinking about this for a while myself, and I think like another big thing that came with that is hubris. Like a huge like mentality of like we can do no wrong because we're on top, you know. That's why they think they can just get away with a finger poke of doom, and they can just like, oh, we're just gonna spoil what WWF's going on, and what ultimately led to their downfall of Tony Schiavone telling people that Mankind was gonna win the WWF championship. Man, were you around for that? Like, were you like? First of all, if you were, my condolences for you having to watch a finger poke of doom. But second, were you like there when Tony Schiavone said that Mankind's gonna win the championship? And were you like part of that batch that like flipped over just to see that happen?
Yeah, nah, for sure, for sure. And you know, I was a fan of Mankind, Mick Foley, Dude Love, you know what I'm saying? But and he had a great impact on wrestling, you know, when he was in it. I mean, even with like the Hell in a Cell match, you know, with the Undertaker, like he had one of the most legendary matches to me, you know, because they were like they was like falling off like from the top of, you know, of that cell or whatever.
That was crazy.
But yeah, but nah, I definitely, I couldn't even have imagined Mankind like really being the champion. You know what I'm saying? Like I think he would have been like one of the weirdest, you know, champions that we would have had for real.
Definitely like an underdog at the time.
Yeah, for sure.
So we got two factions out of the Monday Night Wars. You got DX and you got NWO. What would you say? You were more of an NWO guy or more of a DX guy?
All right, so I was definitely more influenced by DX. You know, like I was in school, I definitely got in trouble in school telling the teacher to suck it. You know what I'm saying, and doing that. But then NWO was so, and it's funny because like DX was more funny and like childlike, if you were to say. NWO was serious, you know what I'm saying? Like when Hall and Nash like went over there like that, I mean, you know, Hollywood Hulk Hogan, like all, you know what I'm saying, all of that, like that was, they was cold. But I'm gonna say more DX for real. Yeah.
You prefer Shawn and Triple H DX or Triple H New Age Outlaws China DX? X-Pac.
Han, the 1-2-3 kid, aka X-Pac. I'll probably say the first iteration. Yeah.
Yeah, when they were like,
You said Shawn Michaels.
yeah, I would say like that first iteration of Shawn and Triple H, or Hunter Hearst Helmsley as he was.
Yeah.
That was special. That was very. I would like to see how it would have went if Shawn didn't, get his back injury. And had to retire for a little bit. But that like almost not really a prototype, but like that almost like primordial version of D-Generation X was like very, very interesting when they were just like causing trouble for Sergeant Slaughter every week. So
yeah.
So that's
And then am I accurate in saying this? RP to China.
RP to China.
Yeah. I just saw that like maybe a week or so ago that she had passed away some years ago or something like that, and I was kind of tripping when I found that out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, most definitely. I was okay. So like a big thing that like drove the hotness of wrestling around that time was the competition of it. Everybody, it's an old doctrine that says competition make things better.
Yeah.
Would you say that's like good? Like the best years we've gotten out of wrestling was due to the competition, or was it be due to something else?
I think it was a combination of the great competition, because there were really some dope wrestlers out there, and then we were seeing people do stuff that we were starting to come into a time and an era where people were doing stuff that you just never expected, like Kurt Angle being able to angle slam the Big Show, and Goldberg even being able to do his move on the, put the Big Show up in the air and do his move on. So I think the combination of the competition, like the storylines, the characters, but then we were just seeing like these wrestlers start to do things that like just that we could have never imagined. You know what I mean? Like, so, and it's funny, man, because, so many people, would try to say like wrestling is fake and all of that. And I'm like, nah, it's choreographed, but it ain't no way that you can fake getting slammed on that mat. It ain't no way that you can fake getting a hand chopped to the chest, or, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's so, like for those dudes, I mean, even, like Edge and Christian and the Hardy Boys and like them climbing up all high and doing those moves, you know what I'm saying? Like flipping onto the announcers tables and stuff like that. Ain't no way you could fake that. Like those announcer tables like wasn't cushions and all of that. Like they was really doing their thing.
All right. Well, obviously it's a different world we live in now than it was when wrestling growing up. But if social media existed back then in 1998 around that time, or just even like around like the time where you guys were watching like wrestling early, who do you think would be like the person to, so to speak, go viral every week or have like the couple moments?
Man, I feel like Ric Flair would have been going viral. I feel because Ric Flair would have like, you know what I'm saying, like had the bitches with him or whatever, like been, you know what I'm saying? Like I could see him going viral. I could have seen what's my guy name? The first iteration of who am I trying to say? Hey, Chico. Razor Ramon. Like I could have seen Razor Ramon on some player shit, you know what I'm saying? Like going viral. And then I'll probably have to say like Mr. Perfect. Mr. Perfect definitely would have been going viral because, like, even when you think about some of his commercials, like where he, like throwing the basketball behind his head and hitting it on net, or when he on the football field and he throw the ball and he go running and then he catch it like he threw a 60-yard pass to himself.
Spit the gum in the air.
Yeah, oh yeah, man, I definitely got in trouble being in school, like spitting my gum in the air and knocking it up.
I got in trouble for that too, but only because Edge did it and not Mr. Perfect.
That's funny.
That nigga's a youngster, man.
But you know what though, man, it's ill, man, because I love chopping it up about wrestling, like even with with older cats, and then with younger cats who just have a different perspective, saw our era like in a different light, can even tell me why their era is better or what, you know what I mean? Like I like having the conversations, man. I try not to knock, you know what I'm saying? Even like when it comes to music, like I try not to be that guy that's like, man, when hip hop was this, you know what I'm saying? This was the golden age and this was the best time. It's like, you know, you got to appreciate like the art and then the sport, you know, for what it is and the advances that it's made. Because I'll say, like the dynamic of how wrestling looks now, and even some of the moves they doing, man, like they doing moves that
they going nuts.
Yeah, that I've never seen before, bruh. And yeah, and then the women have really taken over wrestling too.
Back then, women really wasn't in the picture for
right. So like I like Jade Cargill. Is that her name?
Yeah, the Black China.
Yeah, yep.
for sure.
I don't know what kind of stuff they're having women do in America. Because you're right, but like if I show you some Japanese tapes, man,
Lord.
I gotta say it. Them Japanese women are going crazy around that time.
And on the desk is his favorite woman wrestler. Let me show you who she is.
Oscar,
That's his favorite woman
okay.
wrestler.
I'm an Oscar fan. I'm an Oscar fan for real. Rey Mysterio. Oh no.
Oh man. Oh
Rey
man.
Mysterio Jr.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, go.
All right.
So I'm interested though. Someone that's like, because I'm hearing you talk, and especially when you talk about your cousin and y'all was on wrestling, like you sound like me and Khalil, like just super fans and passionate about it.
Yeah.
What was the time that got you out of it? What was like the last straw for you?
I think, man, when John Cena started coming in and being like a hit, when John Cena came in and was on his hip hop shit and was trying to do that, and then also I was low key mad at John Cena because his intro song was actually my partner. So I went to college in Minneapolis. I went to University of Minnesota, and there was a rapper up there that I was real cool with. His name was I Self Divine.
Okay,
and the beat, and he had the intro beat that John Cena had is from this producer that's from Seattle named Jake One.
Yeah, Jake One. Yes.
And so I remember my boy I Self having that song that was John Cena's intro. He had that beat, and he had a dope ass song on it, and he got a call like, hey man, sorry, like there's some new wrestler in the WWF, they pay like a lot of money for the beat, so he had to like take it from my guy, and my guy had a legendary song on that beat. So then even from then, I just hated John Cena and was like, man. So that I would say that was probably around the time where I started slowing down, with it. I was like, yeah.
So you survived like one of the main exoduses of wrestling fans was the ending of WrestleMania 17 when Austin shook hands with Mr. McMahon.
Yeah.
That was like a time where a lot of people stopped watching. So you survived that.
Yeah, for sure. Cause I mean, I like a good plot twist. You know what I'm saying? So I wasn't mad at that. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't mad at that. Do-rag Vince, I definitely did. I definitely didn't like do-rag Vince, man. He used to walk like he had a diaper on, and you know what I'm saying? Like,
bro said, "What up, G?"
Yo, what up, G? Like,
is that the same time he said, "My nigga"?
Yes.
That was that was a little later. He was ECW champion when he did that.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yo, that should have been fired right then and there.
Yo, for real. And then Booker T, like him being around when he did that, I was like, yo, I don't know how he ain't like kick him and do a spin-a-rooney or something on him, dog. Because that was crazy.
Would you agree wrestling got soft?
No, I wouldn't say it got soft. I wouldn't go that far. I don't think it got soft. I just think that the storylines just stopped, stopped being as interesting. I think it was more of that. I don't think wrestling got soft though. What's your perspective? I want to hear that from both.
It's more advanced because it's like the stars now got to see the people we talking about, so they had an event. Like what I've noticed is a lot of stars now came up off his guy Jeff Hardy.
Yeah.
So what they seeing Jeff Hardy, because at the time Jeff Hardy came, we ain't never seen nothing like that.
Yeah,
like,
man.
So these kids came up off Jeff Hardy, so they like, oh no, I'm gonna take it to the next level. So when you get people like Ricochet and Dragon Lee and Jovan Evans, et cetera, et cetera. So I think from that standpoint of like elevating skill set and what you could do in the ring is better. But it is kind of soft though because hard, like for example, AEW is hard. I will give you that.
Yeah,
AEW hits hard.
I rock with AEW.
I definitely give you that. But WWF is kind of like, I'm used to all the wrestlers being more like Gunther and Brock Lesnar.
Yeah.
I will say, like, for me, and I'm about to get my, like, I guess my slight philosophy back, but when I say this, during like the Attitude Era in like the late 90s of WCW, wrestling was counterculture. You know, it wasn't like this like big propped up thing, this big like promotional thing that people will like, you know, oh, here's the wrestling company. Like a lot of like the big like corporate people or like main world saw wrestling as either childish or degenerate or like, you know, it wasn't like as big and celebrated as it is now.
Yeah.
But nowadays wrestling is part of the culture, so they can still be like edgy and stuff like AEW does, or the many like seldom chances that WWE does it. But I will say like they had to like be edgy to stand out during that time of being counterculture. Now that you're a part of the culture, now that you're like, you know, really corporate like WWE is, I can see why there's that perspective of being soft. But however, I'm not seeing Hulk Hogan take a bump in thumbtacks ever in his career. I'm not seeing Hulk Hogan. I'm not seeing gentleman Chris Adams take a bump off of the Hell in a Cell and plummet down over the on the announce table. I'm not just talking about McMahon or Mankind did it. A bunch of other wrestlers did it before him too. I'm not seeing people like Macho Man Randy Savage, you know, like be like set on fire.
Yeah.
So, like there's like stuff that's like an evolution of the time of wrestling growing up that is definitely a byproduct of where we came from, especially where we are now. Like the women's blood and guts match. I'm not sure if you're familiar with AEW, but you know, they have like, you know, the women's blood and guts matches thing. So even stuff like that in and of itself is like, you know, it was more novel back then, you know. Now we kind of like see it a lot more, but it was like more novel of seeing like somebody get thrown off the cell, somebody getting, you know, even getting blood back then was like kind of like a novel thing. It's like, whoa.
Oh
you know?
yeah, for sure. I mean, even back then, you know, Jake the Snake Roberts. I remember like he had the snake bite Randy Savage in a match or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like that was crazy. That was so crazy, bro. Like he had that King Cobra, or I think he had a Cobra. And
Damien,
Damien, yeah.
Nah, definitely. So this is a hip hop wrestling podcast. So I thought of something cool that I want to ask both of y'all. We kind of put it wrestling in the hip hop space right quick. Okay, so first question. Who, out of everybody of all time, who you think had the most hip-hop energy with a wrestler?
I mean, outside of John Cena?
Well, he more Marky Mark, Funky Bunch.
Yeah, true that. Huh. Who had the most
hip-hop energy?
I would probably have to say The Godfather.
I like that.
Yeah, I would have to say The Godfather. Yeah, he had the most hip hop energy to me because I mean, shit, he was on some Too Short shit. He was on some Ice-T shit.
Sugar Free, all that.
Come on, bro. Yeah, all the way.
Who you say, Khalil?
That's a good answer, Godfather. Hip hop energy. That's a really good question. I might have to agree with you on that one. To say The Godfather has like the most hip hop energy. Some in me wants to say like that little era of Rey Mysterio that I like a lot. That unmasked Filthy Animals Rey Mysterio.
Oh yeah.
Even that little alignment when he was like aligned with Master P.
Yeah.
And No Limit Soldiers. But
that was ill. Yes, I remember that. Yeah.
Like the whole tandem of he, Conan, and Billy Kidman being what's it called, the Filthy Animals.
Yeah.
Like I think that stable in itself had like a lot of hip hop energy without being overtly a hip hop centered group.
Yeah. I would also have to put Rikishi in that conversation too.
Yeah.
Because Rikishi, even though I hated his move, you know, when he wore the thong and he smashed people's face with his butt or whatever. But after his matches, when they line up And like what I think like Scotty Too Hotty used
I was
to
just
rock
about to
with
say that,
him.
yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah. And they used to put on the shades and they be doing that dance, and then Scotty Too Hotty be doing the worm across the
Yeah,
ring and all
yeah.
that was legendary too. Scotty Too Hotty was dope too.
Yeah, he was a little bit above John Cena Thugonomics.
Yeah.
He almost was a part of the Funky Bunch, but you know, he good. So what would y'all say, who had the hardest theme song?
Who had the hardest theme song?
Till this day you hear it in your head.
Dang. I mean, John Cena
Really?
got one of the probably got he got like the
You
hard.
can't see me. The time is now.
I mean the hardest beat. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Like, but
That's
dang.
a trademark.
Nah, but damn. Okay, let's see here. The hardest theme song. Dang, that's a tough one. Who would you say? I can't think right now.
I'm just as or perplexed as you are.
Stone Cold Steve Austin has one of the
glass.
dopest theme songs. Yeah, that glass shattering, and then that beat was just crazy. You know what I'm saying? His wasn't really a song. It was
Khalil,
it
you
was
know
just
mine.
the music.
Which one's yours?
I'm a real American. Fight for us.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
That Hulk Hogan. Yeah, nah, for
I
sure.
definitely found it better when he was coming out to Jimi Hendrix, but that's just me. The Voodoo Child is kind of hard to beat.
Yeah,
But
nah, for
all right,
sure.
so I think like in terms of like hard theme songs that I'm thinking of, I just had it in my brain too. Like John Cena's a good one. I would say like, Rey Mysterio's like first theme song is really good. Like who's that jumping out the sky?
Oh yeah.
That first one. Eddie Guerrero's like heel theme song with the telephone, the one that people think that Dom should be coming out to.
Eddie Guerrero was like the sleazeball of wrestling.
Man.
So he was so dope.
Dope.
I got it. There's when Undertaker was the biker and he was coming out to Limp Bizkit.
Yeah.
I even like the original, like the classic Undertaker. You know, with that gong, and yeah.
It's something crazy like going back and watching old tapes, right? I was as a kid and I barely knew who Limp Bizkit was, but like I knew like the song. I knew the song everybody knew it was, you know, Break Stuff, the Rollin', of course. But like you watching wrestling and you seeing this black dude in the ring with like these bushy eyebrows, and he's like, and the next dude is the Undertaker come out, talking Maven, come out, and he's coming out to Limp Bizkit, and like, whoa, hold on, like actual song, like he's coming out to an actual song. That shit was crazy to me. That blew my mind down. Now we got like copyrighted songs now more, but like that in itself blew my mind when I was a kid.
What? Nah, definitely. So it's Black History Month.
Yes, sir.
You know, we definitely got to celebrate Black History Month. So I got a dope question. I'm going to answer it too. I need all of our top 3 most underrated black wrestlers of all time. Underrated now.
Underrated.
Yeah.
I mean, Junkyard Dog.
Yes.
I guess Booker T isn't considered to be underrated.
Yeah, he's the GOAT.
He's a
the
6-time
top.
champion.
Yeah. Virgil, who used to be with the $1 Million Man.
Yeah, he used to be hard.
Yeah.
I tell him that all the time.
Yeah.
Now, Virgil was cool. He was cool.
Yeah.
Reliable.
Yeah. And then, goodness, it's so crazy. Dang. And then, what was my guy named? Farouk.
Yeah.
Ron Simmons,
Yeah.
Remember, I forgot about him as Farouk. Yeah, Ron Simmons,
that's
man.
the first black WCW champion.
Yeah. He was one of my favorites too. And then I loved when they, did the Nation of Domination and all that. And he, you know what I mean?
For sure. I always bring up this guy around like Joe, but he be giving me shit for it. Whenever I bring up Ronda Truth Killings or R-Truth.
Okay. Yeah.
Because he's the first black NWA world champion. When he beat Ken Shamrock for it in 2004 or 5 on TNA.
Yeah.
So he's a part of like black wrestling history in and of itself. Plus having a 30+ year career is like, nothing to sneeze at either.
Yeah, no, for sure.
But yeah, those good answers. Really good answers.
Word.
Who your three?
My three. So R-Truth, definitely. I will say that. D'Lo Brown is another one.
Oh yeah, with that crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Eurocontinental championship feud with Jeff Jarrett was always amazing.
Yeah, definitely super.
We had a chest protector on for a little bit too.
Yeah.
I love that. And a third one, I was gonna like be basic and say Ron Simmons, but I will have to say he's outside of WWE. I would say Jay Lethal.
Great potential.
Jay Lethal,
potential.
Ring of Honor alumni, amazing talent, still going today. Amazing talent. Also, that moment where he was doing the woo off of Ric Flair on TNA is immortalized in wrestling history. So that's always great.
Yeah.
Well, definitely, I'm going with Too Cold Scorpio.
Okay.
He was so fire.
Yeah.
Like the moves, he was the first black person I saw doing flips and all this type of shit. I love his finishing move where what's that called? 360 into a leg drop?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's still wrestling too.
That's
For
crazy.
real?
I just
Yeah, he
saw
my
him-
TikTok buddy.
I just saw him.
DMing.
Word.
I just saw him wrestle at the Gathering of the Juggalos back in August. He was tag teaming with the Great Sasuke.
Nah, definitely. And number 2, I have to put a tag team, Harlem Heat. Because
Harlem
the thing
Heat.
about Harlem
Harlem
Heat is
Heat.
they was like really special. Like, of course, Booker T's a star,
Yeah.
so he gets talked about the most. But his brother held it down.
Yeah, nah,
Yeah,
for
exactly.
real.
He definitely
And I always wondered like what happened like when Booker T went, just really pushed his solo career. Like what happened to his brother? Because he was definitely dope.
No, definitely. And I saw Booker T's documentary. He seemed like more of like a brother that's like a big brother that's on some protecting his brother. Like he knows his brother the star, and that's how he would like to keep it. Like soon as he saw him get the push, he made an effort to fall back.
Yeah.
He got on commentary for a little bit.
Exactly.
Like, yeah, no. But Stevie Ray, one of them ones. Like their back and forth rivalry with the Nasty Boys. Probably one of the greatest tag team feuds of all time.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, and I definitely got to say, because you said it last time, I forgot who we were talking to, but they said it reminded me of him, Tony Atlas.
Oh.
Tony,
Yeah.
that's Tony Atlas.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was,
like that
I
one.
forgot who we interviewed and they said that, but that's definitely reminded me of him. So,
I would say honorable mention would have to be Devon Dudley.
yes, hell yeah.
Because I
don't get talked about enough,
Yeah,
bro.
for real. Because I feel like so many people focus on Bubba Ray. Because Bubba Ray was the one like really doing like the moves off the top ropes and all that, and throwing the people through the table and everything. But Devon Dudley was really dope. And then some wrestlers almost like I feel like Devon was one of those guys where he almost purposely didn't showcase like or wasn't able to showcase all of his wrestling skills. He almost had to like tuck some of it away a little bit just to make room for the group to be great. But he was a really dope wrestler. Like he had like kind of his pockets where you'd see like, oh
Yeah,
bro,
for sure. All right, cool.
Let's wrap it up. Let's do this rapid questions, man. Rapid fire.
okay.
Rapid fire. So basically what's going to happen, me and Khalil going to go back and forth. We're going to be naming stuff, and you just say what comes on your mind with the answer. Okay, boom. Number 1, the best finisher ever.
Ooh, the best finisher ever would have to be the best finisher ever. Dang, that's tough. The perfect plex.
Yes.
The best finisher ever is the perfect plex because it just took so much like to do that and to actually be able to hold that move. Like, yeah.
I can't say best finisher ever, but some of my favorites is either. I'm gonna say names you probably don't even recognize for real, or you might. Swerve Strickland's house call, or Kenny Omega's V trigger. Or something like more, that I really enjoy. I really enjoyed Austin's his stunner, of course. Like it's the way people sold it too.
Yeah.
So Austin's stunner, definitely.
Definitely. Mine, RKO.
RKO.
It's just how, obviously, I think it's better finishers than that, but just how iconic the finisher became. Like, he got an extra 10 years because his finishing move is so iconic. Best entrance ever. No, we already said that. My bad. Most overrated
Like of all time?
of all fucking time.
Hulk Hogan.
All right.
Ultimate Warrior.
That's a good one.
That is a good one.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
You know, I'm gonna have to change my answer to that. I might have to say Ultimate Warrior.
Yeah, Ultimate Warrior. I mean, he had the most. I feel like he had the most charisma.
Yeah.
But like actual like technical wrestling and all
Trash.
that. Yeah, trash.
Mine's is damn, I just thought about it. Fuck. Oh, Goldberg.
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 Yeah.
Yeah, he was just pure just power. Like he was
Mine's with Goldberg. Okay, most underrated of all time.
Most underrated wrestler of all time. I'm gonna have to go with Dang, that's a tough one. That's a tough one, yo. The most underrated wrestler of all time. Goodness. Papa Shango.
Whoa!
And I think
niggas be loving Papa Shango.
But I think because like he didn't have many major matches.
Mm-hmm.
All of his matches, like it would be like, remember when WWF, like it used to be like the wrestlers against like a no name, and he used to just go in and just beat up a bunch of no names, and like I just feel like they didn't give him as many major matches as I feel like he deserved.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, I bring him up all the time, and you always make fun of me for bringing him up. Chavo Guerrero.
Oh my God.
Chavo Guerrero.
The most trash nigga I ever heard you say on this platform. Fucking nepotism at its best.
See, this guy, Spitty kind of knows, though. Chavo Guerrero was good.
You agree?
No, Chavo was...
Chavo
was good.
Chavo was good, bro.
Yo, I ain't gonna say bro was trash.
Yo! I am surprised you don't think he trash, bro.
I mean, I'm gonna put some stats on it, right? He was hanging with the best of the cruiserweights back in WCW. He was a cruiserweight champion back in WCW. Fire feuds with the likes of Rey Mysterio.
Fire feuds?
Yes, with Rey Mysterio.
You know, feuds have storylines and good mic
are you saying that
situations.
Are you saying that Rey and Chavo didn't have a storyline when they feuded in WWF or WWE?
I don't remember it. What was it?
It was basically over. Chavo was upset at Rey because he got the shine after Eddie died.
Okay, that's cool. Okay, you got to mention Eddie. That's how you say that.
Right.
Yeah.
He was even hanging like with some of the best cruiserweights, even in WWE. He had great matches with Billy Kidman when he came over, Jerry Lynn, Jamie Noble, one of the most influential cruiserweights to date. Chavo Guerrero is such an unsung like great wrestler that a lot of people don't talk about because of how good his uncle is and how good people around him were. But he himself, I think, deserved like the shine. Bit of modern day booking. I really do hope like we get a thing where like Chavo comes back and manages Dom during his
I wouldn't be mad at that, but anything else is what the hell. Mine is Mr. Valentine, Paul Orndorff. He was so
Mr. Wonderful?
Mr. Wonderful, Paul Orndorff. I'm tripping. I'm thinking about Greg
Valentine.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Mr. Wonderful, Paul Orndorff. So fire. Like he's in that same boat over there with fucking Mr. Perfect. Not as good as Mr. Perfect, but just as far as that like technical, but just got just water. Like some people just wrestle like water, bro.
Yeah.
Where it's just so smooth and so woo. And he had the robes like Ric Flair. Like, yeah. Mr. Wonderful, man.
Yeah, Mr. Wonderful was hard.
Some of my personal like favorite notes about Mr. Wonderful is one, when he got into the Hall of Fame, he left his trophy in the hotel room and did not bring that shit with him at all.
Wow. He must have been having a wonderful night.
And another one is around 1994 or 5 when they had that fake Ultimate Warrior, the Renegade there, and Orndorff was a heel, but people were booing the shit out of the Renegade and just cheering Orndorff because they didn't fuck with the Renegade at all because they knew he was a fake Ultimate Warrior. But Paul Orndorff getting like the Hulk Hogan level like cheers at that pay-per-view was insane.
Nah, definitely. And with it being WrestleMania season, the last rapid question: what is the best WrestleMania of all time?
The best WrestleMania. Goodness. Probably the one where Undertaker and Shawn Michaels fought at one of the?
That was 25 and 26.
Okay, yeah,
The retired one or the first one?
the first one.
25. Okay.
Yeah. So that was like one of my favorites. But then like back in the day, you know, I was talking about like that was the WrestleMania where the one where Hulk Hogan and
Yep.
Macho Man.
That's my favorite.
Fought.
Oh no, oh that one. What's that? 4 or 5?
4.
4.
Yeah.
Okay.
4.
Okay.
Yeah. So those two are probably like two. Those are like two of my favorites.
Okay.
Yeah.
17 without a doubt. It's just probably
What was the main event?
Austin Rock for the WWE
Oh
Championship.
yeah.
That's the one where Austin took hands with Vince McMahon at the end. TLC 2, we had the Hardy Boys, Edge and Christian, and Dudley Boys.
Yep.
In that ladder match. Amazing. The only like bad match I would say on that card was the women's match, but besides that, every single match on that card was just top to bottom, good to great.
Yeah.
You know, good quality Mr. Mania for
Yeah.
real.
Nah, definitely. Mine's is WrestleMania 3. I feel like that's the most important WrestleMania of all time. That's when Hulk Hogan body slammed Andre the Giant.
Yeah.
That's when Steamboat Macho Man had the classic match to show you what wrestling really is.
Yeah.
The lineup was stacked, and it set the tone where WrestleMania was going to go from that point on. To me, it's WrestleMania 3 for sure.
Okay, for sure.
Definitely set the tone for wrestling like, moving forward.
Absolutely. Okay, yeah. Khalil, take us home, baby.
Well, I want to thank Spitty for joining us on this episode 14 of the Kings of the Ring podcast. Let them know where the good people can find you.
Yo, you can find me on every social media platform at Spitty Will, SPITTYWILL, or just search Off the Porch and you'll hear my voice on there asking some intriguing questions to some of your favorite artists, producers, and personalities out here.
There it is. I want to thank you guys for joining us for episode 14 of the Kings of the Ring podcast.
Yes, sir.
Presented by Digital Bricks Network. I have been your host, Khalil. Over here to my right has been Willie Joe. Again, thank you, TC, Emmanuel, and Nia for being on production side of things. Thank you, Grace Shamel and Offside Louie for the theme song. And y'all have a great night.
Yes, sir.
Peace.